One of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about is something called block quotes. Um, Block quotes are very important and make your paper look much more professional, but they're a double-edged sword. Um, if you have too many of them, it doesn't look like you're doing any work. Thank you, Bacon. My cat has come up while I'm working. Um, what was I saying? So, I would say one per paper, maybe two for a smaller paper. If it's a larger work, let's say more than 6,000 words, you could probably get away with three or four. Um, but I wanted to talk to you about how to do block quotes using APA. All right, when to use it. When direct quotes are over 40 words long. Now, who has time to count 40 words? I don't have time for that. I usually go if it goes over 3 lines of text. If it goes over 3 lines of text, go ahead and block it. Um, so something that happens is like if you're watching a movie and one of the characters is like, "Oh, I wish I knew what to do," and another person comes in and is like, "Well, in 1984, and your mother was the queen of the prom, and she was at prom, and they laughed at her and threw bloody balloons at her, and that made her so angry she swore she would get vengeance. And so I think she's probably a witch and has cursed you to come back and kill everyone, and that's why you have." That's called an exposition dump in a movie. Um, that's what a block quote really is good for. It's when you have to cover a lot of data and you don't feel like writing out sentences of like 60%, nearly 2/3, things like that. You don't feel like doing that. If there's a lot of numbers, that's when I would use a block quote. All right. When there's a lot of data to smush. All right. It provides readability and it makes it easier for the reader, me. All right. So when you format it, uh, it is no longer double spaced. Okay. Uh, it comes in the full inch. All right. If your indent is half, it's like a double tab. Then the other thing is citation is after the last punctuation. Period. Citation. All right. Um, that's what it would look like. Oh, I guess it's still double spaced. Yes, it should be double spaced. Sorry, just like the rest of the paper. But it should be 1 inch from the left, creating a freestanding block of texts. Don't use quotation marks. It's already set apart. If you look, you don't need quotation marks here. There may be quotation marks inside the quotation marks, inside the quote, but you don't need to set it off. It's set off by the spacing. All right. So, uh, the citation for the block quote is placed outside the final punctuation, not inside. It should be in the reference list. There should be no page numbers. And you should copy and paste perfectly. Do not edit it. Okay? So you have the original quote, introducing the quote, and maintaining context. Uh, One of the things a lot of you are doing is you're quoting. Your quotes will have so let's say you're reading a book by Bob Smith and he quotes Adam Johnson, and so you will write, according to Bob Smith, quote da 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 da, but it was actually John Smith who said it. So you need to make sure that's very clear, that you're letting people know that it's John and not Bob, and you can do that within the block quote as well. Um, each paragraph should be indented, double spaced, double in like 1 inch, no quotation marks, and you should cite it after it. You got that. Um, yep. 40 words. I say 3 lines. Keep it formatted. Keep it multiple paragraphs. No quote marks except for the first paragraph. So if you're quoting like a super long quote and it's more than one paragraph, it's okay. You just keep it in the same block format, and still no quote marks. Okay. Uh, I would like to see more use of these with some of your work. Hope this helps.